This is Alisha On Demand, and I am Alisha. Welcome to my very first video. I always told myself if I ever gained access to something that had the potential to go on a national platform, that this would be the first thing I discussed. It is a message on gratitude. I'm going to begin in 2016. After 7 years of 3-day-a-week dialysis, my mother finally decided to put herself on the transplant list. We had 4 calls where we went up to the hospital after being told that there was a kidney waiting, only to discover that for one reason or another, the kidney wasn't viable or it went to someone else. We drove up there so excited and full of hope and all the things that my mom wanted to do when she was no longer tethered to the dialysis process, only to drive home heartbroken. I had to keep reminding myself that that heartbreak did not belong to me. The 5th call we got, we were told was slightly premature. You see, the person that was to be the person that was supposed to be the donor was in the process of dying. His heart was breaking. He wasn't going to get a heart transplant, but his family had made the ultimate sacrifice of ensuring that as many organs that were viable would be donated to people that day. They changed so many people's lives, including my mother's, because that kidney was successfully transplanted into her on February 15th of 2017. Soon after, she was declared the model kidney transplant patient. She had 0 reactions. She was feeling good. She had lost some weight. She got her glow back. She was excited about life and started listing things that she wanted to try. I think she was going to learn the keyboard, and she started doing things with paint, and she got back to sewing again. She was so excited. We decided that when she reached the 18-month milestone, we were going to start planning a trip. She wanted to go to Hawaii. I had gone 10 years earlier and had not stopped talking about the beautiful waters and the beach and the sand, and she wanted that experience too. We talked about going to the Dole pineapple place and having some pineapple slushy thing that I had had there, and we talked about going to the North Shore and putting our toes in the sand. She was so excited about that trip. But somewhere along the 6-month mark of her kidney transplant, the transplant coordinator came to us and said, "Is there any message that you'd like me to pass along to the donor family?" The only words my mom could even squeak out were "thank you." And then she looked at me. I'd never been at a loss for words. I agreed that I would write a letter. I imagined that I would enclose photos from our trips and adventures, and we would talk about how exciting Hawaii was and thank these people for the years ahead. I imagined writing them again when my daughter got married, something my mom wanted to be there for. I imagined writing them when my mother's first great-grandchild would be born. I imagined keeping in touch with these people and maybe having one of those, TV moments where we met the family and they kind of felt warmed by seeing my mother so viable. I never wrote the letter. You see, at the 18-month mark of having her functioning kidney, my mom received the news that her cancer had returned. It was everywhere. It was inoperable. And the treatments weren't very promising. She had 6 months to live. Those 6 months weren't easy. She was sick most of the time. But when she had energy, she did all the things that she wanted to do before. Every time I started talking about planning a trip, she would look down, and she told me that she just didn't feel up to it. We never made it to Hawaii. On April 24th of 2019, Mom passed away. I never wrote the letter. I sometimes imagine these people were like, what kind of people don't send a thank you letter for an organ, for a new lease on life? Who are these people? Were they not thankful? Was there no gratitude? What happened? I wondered if they just wonder, like, what happened to that kidney? I'm pretty sure the other families that received some of the other organs reached out. Maybe they were the people on TV. Like I always imagined we would be meeting the family that donated. But I never wrote the letter. If by any chance in the world the donor family is watching, there are no words to express the amount of gratitude that comes from me, my brother, my daughter, and the rest of our family. We are thankful for every minute that Mom had after receiving that kidney. I am so thankful for those 18 months that she didn't focus so heavily on her health, and that she went out and lived. And she met people for lunch, and she made plans, and she went to events again, and she wore her dresses. I'm thankful for those moments. I'm thankful that we got to see the Broadway production of The Lion King in Peoria, and she was well enough to go. I'm thankful that she was there to talk to me during dark times in my personal life, and happier moments too. I'm thankful that she taught me how to make her famous Thanksgiving gravy, the toffee bars. I'm thankful for those extra conversations. I'm even thankful that after receiving a terminal diagnosis, she was well enough to tell me the stories of her life, and gracious enough to tell me I could tell the world if I wanted to. I am so thankful for every second of time we were granted because of your gift. I am so sorry you had to lose someone for so many of us to gain more time with the one we love. I wish I could be sending you this video sitting next to my mom on the beaches of Hawaii. And even though that didn't get to happen, I am so thankful for all of the moments that did. I hope by some miracle this video reaches the intended recipient and they can truly feel how grateful we are. I also know that the intended recipient is everyone. So many people are owed a thank you or an I'm sorry, and they might never hear it. Please know that a lot of times the words are just caught in someone's throat, but the emotions are there. And if you owe that to someone, take the time to give them closure, a feeling of relief or happiness. But just tell them, life is so short and there's so much negativity in the world. You can be someone's mandatory positive. That's the end of this story, but it's not the end of this journey. I hope you stick around, but if your path takes you elsewhere, that's okay too. Please hit the like button if you've gotten anything at all from this video, and subscribe if you'd like to hear more. Thank you for spending your time with me.